when people ask where we should cut, I tell people we ought to start at the beginning of the alphabet: agriculture, national endowment arts, and work our way right on through. Now, there's a number of pet agencies I can pick that I would like to see eliminated. Each one has a political constituency of one kind or another. 2/3 of the agriculture budget happens to be for food stamps. And we keep upping the poverty level all the time. We have the poverty pimps that keep pushing the level up all the time. So now people that are technically living in poverty have 2 garage ranch homes with cell TVs and cable and cell phones and things like that. These people need to stand on their own 2 feet. Now, it's not easy to do away with these programs. And quite frankly, we have a covenant with some of our seniors, people that have worked hard all their lives, that we made a commitment to in programs like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. I think one of the first things we should do is an audit of those programs to see if everybody on there really deserves to be on there. And I have more, but I'm out of time.
Certainly, healthcare has to be the first issue because we have to stop this before it really gets into effect. I do support taking care of the Federal Reserve. We certainly need to do something there. But we need to stop paying for abortion in this country and around the world. Abortion is murder, and we need to cut those funds right now, first and foremost. And then next time we cut the Department of Education, where they indoctrinate kids and not educate kids. To think the federal government takes your money and will not give it to your children's school unless that school teaches what the government dictates. And you know what? Republicans gave us this. We need to get rid of that program, the No Child Left Behind, and we need to eliminate the Department of Education because parents and teachers should train kids and not the federal government. That's what should be.
Gloria Jacobs.
Good evening. I stand here before you as one of those entitled people. I am United States Army retired. I am Ohio State retired, and I don't mean the university. I worked in a prison for 16 years after working 20 years in the military. I'm a baby boomer also. So I grew up with a contract with the United States government telling me that if I put in this amount of time and I do what I'm supposed to do to support the freedoms of this country, that I will be rewarded. While I was in the military, I paid into Social Security, albeit not much, but I paid what I was supposed to pay. I paid what I was supposed to pay, working toward my state retirement, and now all those entitlements are in danger. Yes, you folks have to address that. I'm too young to go live under a bridge, and it's getting kind of crowded under there. Take care of me. I did what I could do to take care of this country when I was able. Now you have to take care of me. Thank you.
Well, I think a lot of us, when we're talking about cutting Social Security, I don't think we're talking about cutting your check or cutting anybody else's check. But how many of us around here know people that are collecting Social Security, collecting disability, and they should be out in their jobs working? That's the first place we need to go cut. We need to qualify people, and we need to set different standards. If you can go get a job and work, maybe you should be working and not collect the disability. I run into people all the time that, well, I'm collecting Social Security because I can't work around people. What do you mean you can't work around people? To me, that doesn't make sense to give that person Social Security. Let's find them a job where they work by themselves. But let's give people a job. So there has to be cuts and decisions made, but certainly people that have served our country and honored our country and paid your time, if you paid your dues, if you paid your money in it, it sure should be your money. That's why I believe we should go more to a system where you have more control over your money.
I think I've kind of addressed this issue when I said there's certain covenants that we made that we need to honor, and that's one of them. I too worked in corrections for several years, and so I understand some of the things that you were going through. I worked in one of the largest prisons in the United States with all felonies, and I was surprised at the number of inmates working in a prison that was getting Social Security or getting other entitlement programs. And they became very popular inmates because of all the money that they had. That's why I'm saying we need to go back and audit the programs. I had a friend that worked at Social Security who says, I can tell you exactly how to cheat the system. I know people with the VA that say, well, we can tell you how to cheat the system. We need to audit those programs, make sure they get to the people they're really targeted for, people like you, and protect the integrity of those programs while we clean up the fraud. I think it's very important.
Well, you know, I think one thing that's come out tonight is there's some good ideas coming out tonight for us who gets elected here and work on. And you notice when I talk about cut spending, I always said non-defense spending, because we do have an obligation as a country to take care of our veterans. And I support some bills in this Ohio State Legislature to do some things to help the veterans what we can do here in Ohio, which because it's limited, we don't have the resources to support what we can do. But we do need to, as Fred says, audit the programs and look at that. And we do need to adjust our programs to what's happening. People are living longer. You know, we've got to make sure that the people coming into the programs that they know that you're not going to probably retire. I think it's Social Security 67 now, moving up. But there's certain things we have to do to adjust that the public sector and the private sector has to get merged. And good examples in the state of Ohio about 5 public pension plans. Those are much better than in the private sector, and they need to change.
Yeah, the problem we have is it's not about whether or not Social Security or any of the programs can be cut. What the problem is with our unsustainable growth of government. There are all these programs they're going to go under. They're going to go bankrupt. And with politicians, we do not have the courage to make changes to these programs, then everybody's going to lose. And so far, no one's had the courage to make any changes. And that's why, as I said earlier, and many of them on this panel have said, we need to introduce free market forces into these government programs. We need to move away from, we're not saying take away something that someone deserves to have or someone paid into, but we have to transform. We have to move from A to B instead of just staying at A, hoping it doesn't go under. And so far, that's been what we've been doing. We've got to move to a system that is sustainable, that will work, and that's based in the private sector.
First of all, thank you for your service. We really appreciate it, and everybody that's here to serve. I personally appreciate that. Here's the hard part. We're in trouble. And I can apologize to you for that, but unfortunately I'm only going to be 40 years old, so I'm not nearly as responsible as some other people, but I'm willing to take up a responsibility. The unsustainability of what we've come into, the crisis that we're in, is beyond, I fear, than what maybe most of us even in this room imagine. There's no quick fix for what we're talking about. There's no quick fix for these entitlement programs. Social Security wasn't even meant to be a retirement. It was supposed to be a subsidy for people that live beyond the natural average age. That they didn't plan on that extra time. But we've turned it into something that wasn't. We've abused it and all different things. And I just think it needs to be clear that we're looking at serious economic pain in this country. Even if we do all the right things, and we're all going to have to suffer and make some hard choices.
I do want to